subscribe and click the bell icon to turn on notifications.
Hey there, it's Cindy. Welcome to QuickBooks 2021. We are working in Module 3 right now, and we're talking about customizing the QuickBooks environment. We're down to video number 4, which is the start of the chart of accounts, which is the most important part of QuickBooks. You want to know if you spend money, where did you spend the money and what did you spend it for? And if you receive money, was it income for the business? Make sure you watch both parts of the chart of accounts because you want to make sure you have all of your chart of accounts set up correctly so that when you run reports, they're accurate and things show up in the right place. Let's get started. Let's head over to QuickBooks and start working in the chart of accounts. The easiest way to get to the chart of accounts is from the home screen right here. And this is going to give you a list of all of your accounts you currently have set up. Think of your chart of accounts as categories that you apply your transactions to. For example, if you go out to dinner and it's a legitimate business expense, then you want to put that to an expense account called meals. Think about if you have the car serviced, you want to put that to an expense account for automobile. There's lots of different ones we're going to talk through, but let's go through this list and talk about the different ones that you would want to add to this list. This is a generic chart of accounts that QuickBooks decided was best for your business. It based that on how you answered the questions when you walk through the Easy Step interview. There are a lot of accounts you want to add right off the bat, and then some that you might add over time as you start working in QuickBooks. Notice these are set up by type. For each type, you'll notice that the names of the accounts are alphabetical. When you look at your expense account starting from here down, notice these are alphabetical. The first type that I want to talk to you about are bank accounts, and you'll notice you don't have any bank accounts right now. A bank account would be a checking account, a savings, a money market. If you have a PayPal account, those are all considered bank accounts. You need to go ahead and set those up. I'm going to go ahead and right-click anywhere, and that's where you see the new, edit, delete, or make inactive. Let me mention delete. If you're in any list in QuickBooks and you have an item from a list you'd like to delete, you're not going to be able to if you've ever used it. You'll need to make that account inactive. That way the numbers still pull onto reports, but it doesn't show up in this list. It's like it's hidden. But we're going to set up a checking account, so we're going to click on New. The first thing you have to tell QuickBooks is what type of account is this that you're creating. This will be a bank account, and you can see some examples of bank accounts here. You'll just want to continue. The next thing you want to do is name your account. Now you can name this anything you want. If you want to call it operating account and another one payroll. You might call it by your bank name. You might just call it checking. I'm going to go ahead and just call this one checking. We'll talk about sub-accounts a little bit later, but you generally don't have too many sub-accounts when it comes to a bank account. This section here is optional. A description would be a description of what this account is about. Someone would have to be on the screen to actually see this. You really don't need your bank account and routing number here. Even if you plan to download your transaction from the bank, you still don't need that information here. What you do need, though, is an opening balance. What you'll want to do is get out the first bank statement from when you're starting your QuickBooks company file. For example, if it's October and you just purchased QuickBooks and you're just setting this up, and you want to go and put the entire year's worth of data in, you'd want to get your January bank statement. I'm going to go ahead and say that it's $1,000. Notice I'm not typing a $sign or the comma. I just typed 1,000 period and it puts the 2 zeros at the end in for me. You also want to put in your statement ending date. So let's say we went back to the beginning of the year. That would make it January 31. Now, if you're wanting to put in all of this year, you actually want to start with either January 1 or, because it says statement ending date, December 31 of the previous year. The number will be the same whether it's the end of December or the beginning of January. I'll go ahead and click OK. And now I'm going to save and close. Now, because the transaction is over 90 days past due, it's going to give me this message. If you're entering a lot of data that's prior to 90 days, you might want to go into the preferences, and there's an option in there under accounting to turn off this warning, because that can be a real pain. I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, this transaction is over 90 days and it's okay. Now I can see that my checking account is at the top and I have a balance of $1,000. Now you will get this message from time to time. It's asking if you want to set up online banking. Not right now, we'll do that later. But you can see there's your new bank account. If you wanted to double click on checking, then you would see your opening balance transaction there for $1,000 that we set up. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Now let me go ahead and set up a savings account, and I have $5,000. I'm going to right click and choose new. It's going to be a bank account. I'm going to name it savings. And I'm going to say the opening balance has $5,000. And we'll make it as of December 31st of the previous year. And when I click OK, I can then save and close. And then I will see my savings account right there, and I have $5,000. Now, if I wanted to write a check or enter a bank transaction, I have a bank account that I can pull the money from. The next type that I want to talk to you about are your assets. You've got a couple of them here. Now, this is where your accountant will come in very handy, because you may not know which accounts to set up. An asset is something your business owns that makes it more valuable. Your business has furniture, your business has vehicles, it might have a building. Some assets appreciate and some depreciate. QuickBooks does not do depreciation, and that's because there's so many different ways to take care of depreciation, and one accountant might want it done one way and another might want it done a different way. With your assets, what you want to do is set up big buckets. And what I mean by that is, if you have several different vehicles for your business, you don't want to set up every single vehicle. Set up an account called Vehicles. You can see they have one already set up for furniture and equipment. That would be your chairs, your desk, your lamp, those types of things. You'll probably end up with 6, 7, maybe 10, but if you get more than that, you've got way too many. Create big buckets or big general accounts that you want to put your assets into. Now, what will happen is your accountant will ask you at the end of the year, did you buy any vehicles this year? You'll go through and figure out some information on the vehicles, and he'll tell you what numbers to plug in as far as what the value of that vehicle is. He will also help you figure out a depreciation amount, and that's an amount you can plug in to that register as well. But you will probably not know what numbers you want to plug in. The next thing you see here is an account called Accounts Payable. This account is automatically in QuickBooks. The number that you see all the way over to the right where the balance total is, that number would be a total for all the bills you've entered but have not yet paid. The same thing would be true for the flip side, which is your accounts receivable. Now, you don't see that here yet, but as soon as you create your first invoice, QuickBooks will put that account in here for you. Accounts receivable would have a balance total as well. That would be the total of all the invoices you've sent to customers and they haven't paid you yet. Now let's talk for a minute about liability accounts. A liability is something you owe. In accounting, there are short-term liabilities and long-term liabilities. A short term is something you're going to pay off in 12, 13 months, and a long term is something that's 5 years out, 30 years out, like a car payment or a mortgage might be. In QuickBooks, the short terms are called other current liabilities, and the long terms will say long-term liabilities. When you see this one here, these are payroll liabilities, and it's short term. That means those are any deductions you've taken out of a paycheck, uniforms, taxes, any of that stuff, that you would have to forward to the appropriate entity. Those are short term because you turn it around pretty quickly. That's why they're other current liabilities. Let's go ahead and stop the video here, and I want you to go ahead and head over to video number 5, and let's continue talking about the chart of accounts. Hey there, welcome back. This is Cindy. We're going through QuickBooks 2021. We started talking about the chart of accounts over in part 1, and I wanted to finish it up here in part 2. Let's go ahead and flip over to QuickBooks and we will continue talking about which accounts we need to add in that chart of accounts. When we left off in part 1, we were talking about liabilities. A short-term liability is something you're going to pay off fairly quickly, usually within 12 to 13 months. A long-term liability is something you pay off long-term. A car payment is a good example. You're going to pay it off in 4 or 5 years. Let me show you how to set up a long-term liability. I'm going to right-click and choose New. You might be tempted to click on Loan right here, but what QuickBooks doesn't tell you is that indicates a short-term liability. If you're looking for the long-term liability option, you have to come down here and choose Long-Term Liability. I'm going to hit Continue. And the next thing it asks me is, what would I like to name my account? Now you can name this anything you want. If you want to name it the name of their bank, if you want to give it a name that indicates which vehicle it is, you can name it anything you like. Notice there's a place for a description, and there's also a place for the account number, which is not necessary, it's just more informational for you. You do want to enter an opening balance. As of the start date of your company file, what was the opening balance? Let's say it was $20,000. And we'll say it was as of the first of the year, and we'll click OK. Now when I save and close, you're going to see that we have a new long-term liability set up, and it tells me the balance is $20,000. Anytime you make a payment towards this automobile, you want to put it to this loan right here. Your automobile payment is not an expense to your business. It is a long-term liability. You want to be able to see when you get down to the end of your loan how much you have left to go. The next type I want to talk about are credit card accounts. You can see that you don't have any here. You want to set up each of your credit cards separately, just like you set up each of your liabilities separately. I'm going to right-click and choose New, and notice credit card is on the list, and I'll hit Continue. You can call the credit card anything you like. If you want to call it by your bank name, if you want to call it the name of the credit card, you're welcome to do that. There is a place for a description and the credit card account number. You don't need that credit card account number for anything. It's really just for informational purposes. You do want to enter an opening balance. Get out your statement for the beginning of the year if you're entering all your transactions for the year. And then whatever that ending balance is, you want to go ahead and put that in. So remember, if you're starting with January, get December's ending number because that's January's beginning number. You'll go ahead and plug that in and then click OK. And when you're done, save and close. This is asking if I'd like to set up bank feeds for this credit card. I'm going to say no for now. And now you'll see you have a credit card account and you can see the balance. Anytime you make a payment towards the credit card, you want to put it to this account. Let me just give you a little word of caution here with something I see often. A lot of times people will take their credit card statement that comes in the mail and they'll enter it as a bill in QuickBooks. When you enter a bill, you're going to have to tell QuickBooks all the accounts that were used on that bill as far as the transactions are concerned. You're going to have to tell QuickBooks how much was gas, how much was meals, etc. If you don't pay that full entire amount every single month, then you're going to have a situation where QuickBooks thinks that you have a lot of money that's owed on that credit card, and that's not the case. Credit card transactions themselves are actually created on the home screen right here where it says Enter Credit Card Charges. If you don't see this, that means that you did not set up a credit card account. You should be able to look at your credit card at any time and see the balance due on that card. The next type I want to mention are your equity accounts. Think of the word equity as equal. One that you'll definitely want to set up is owner's equity and owner draw. Sometimes they're called shareholder equity. If the owner of the company puts money into the business, it's considered an owner contribution. If the owner takes money out of the business, it's considered an owner draw. Let me show you how you can set that up. I'm going to right-click and choose New, and I'm going to choose an equity account, and I want to name it Owner. Underneath this, I'm going to have 2 sub-accounts for draws and contributions. I'll just hit Save and New so I can stay in this screen. This one will be my draws, and notice I'll make it a sub-account of Owner. And now let me create my contributions. And I'll do the same thing. I'll make it a sub-account of Owner. Now let me show you what this looks like when you save and close. Do you see how you've got 2 sub-accounts underneath Owner? Sometimes I see this set up as shareholder equity, would be when the owner takes money out of the business. You might also see shareholder contributions. There's different terminology for this. As long as you have it set up correctly, then you're good to go. The next thing I want to point out is that you have a couple of income accounts here. When you make a sale for your business, that's considered income. That's your taxable money. If you create an invoice and then the customer pays you, that is income to your business. You can keep it all in one account if you'd like, or if you want to have several different ones to denote the different areas of income that you've brought in, you can do that as well. The next one I want to mention is called Cost of Goods Sold, and let me just tell you what this is. Anytime you need to buy a product or a service to make a product or service in your business, that's considered a cost of goods sold. For example, let's say you're in the construction industry and you build houses. Each time you have a painter come in, that's called a cost of goods sold. You had to buy a service to make a product to sell in your business. The type that's going to have the largest grouping will be your expense accounts that you see down here. You've got a lot of these already set up for you, but you will want to go in and create some new ones to help you track some of your expenses. For example, typically you have automobile expense, but you don't have gas, repairs, and maintenance underneath the sub-accounts. You would want to set that up. All you have to do is right-click and choose New. Make sure it's an expense because it has to be the same type as the main account. I'll just call it Repairs. And then you'll want to make sure it's a sub-account of your automobile expense. Some others you'll want to set up, you'll notice under insurance, you might have different types of insurance. Maybe you have auto insurance, maybe you have workers' comp. You can set those up as sub-accounts. Make sure you set up your interest expense this way. The finance charge indicates credit card charges. Loan interest indicates interest you pay on loans. You've got an account for meals. There's office supplies. Also payroll and postage and delivery. Under professional fees, typically I'll see an account for the attorney and I'll also see one for the accountant. If telephone expense is not part of your utilities, just right-click and edit that account and just make sure that it's a sub-account of utilities. You'll also want to add your gas and electric and your water as well. And you're going to come across others you want to add. Things you don't want to add into this list are names of vendors. This is not a place for that. This is where you have the categories that you would use when you spend money. Now you have a really good idea of how to set up your chart of accounts. If you're still not sure on how to set something up, why don't you open one of the sample files that QuickBooks has available and see how it's done in that file. We're going to take a quick look at some of the sample files that are available in QuickBooks over in the next video, which is video number 6.
This video is part of our full QuickBooks 2021 course. Take a look at the course by clicking right over there. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and click down below to subscribe so you get notified about similar videos we upload. And to see more QuickBooks Pro 2020 videos, go ahead and click over there.